continuing on, we're going to make an equation. No, I missed that one, thank goodness. So this is going to be our first formula. Paying formula, this is used for compound interest. Now, for our test, right here. Now, for our test, I'm going to give you all these equations. This is friendly. All the equations I will give you, you're not going to need to memorize them. Okay. The equation is going to be A equals P, 1 plus I to the exponent n. What these four things stand for, I'm going to write pain on the board because math is painful, and also more importantly, because those are the letters or the acronyms right to the four variables in this question. P stands for principal, which is your starting value. A stands for amount, which is end value. I stands for interest in decimal. And N stands for time. So those are the four variables there. Now, I am going to give you this. I won't give you this part on your test, but I will give you that A equals P1 plus I to the N. I'll give you, you know what I mean, this thing. You'll have to actually be able to use them, use them for that. Okay. So again, as we go through this lesson today, this whole unit is word problems. Okay, that's what this entire thing is. Every question is in sentence form. Okay, and we'll go through how to solve these. You will have to solve for all four of those variables in this unit. Okay, you were mentioning, and I like what Taylor said this morning when he got that question, even though he was incorrect. He said, "Do I have to use logarithms?" Yes, you will have to use logarithms on this one again. Yes. Why is it cap? Well, this is just the name of the title is like this, right? Like this is the way the equation's given.
Why?
So I just wrote it.
Why?
I'm not sure. Yes. One more time. Oh, this is an L, right? It's supposed to be a 1. Sorry about that. That's a number 1. That's what that is. Now, the reason that is, again, if you're looking back to our table here, right, this is if the I is 10%, like 0.1, it's 10%, so it's really 1.1 is what your times in the value by each time. Okay, that's a quick way to do it. Okay, let's do a quick example here, then I'll let you guys try one. Who's gone? Spider-Man. Emily. Example 1 says, actually, I'm going to put a note here before I begin. I'm going to say note. We can instantly calculate compound interest with this formula. I'm going to say in big bold letters, never round until your final answer. Okay, so let's say you have something like 5 over 6. Either leave it as a fraction 5 over 6 or call it 0.083333333333 in your calculator. Like don't just call it 0.8. So that makes a big difference, okay? Does that make sense? Be as exact as possible right to your final answer. No. All right, example 1. Actually, it doesn't aside. Here you go, example 1. It says, Emily saved $3,000 this summer.
I saved $5,000. Spent it all first half semester.
Saves $3,000 this summer.
You get saving. You go to the calf too much.
That's true.
Pretty sure it's $1,000.
And saves it for 3 years at 8% interest per year. How much will she end up with? Is there a way to make sure we can write that down?
I have a financial question.
Okay, for all of these questions, I expect the same format for them. You're going to want to, you have to write down the equation and give it information on the side. So I'll go to the next slide here. Emily, you're going to cite from memory or from the page what the equation we'll be using for in this case, please. Go ahead. So it is right. And I write pain on the board here. Okay, I know, that's right. Alex, I'd like you to look at the equation, look at the question, try and get one of those four given piece of information, please.
Okay. So now it's 3,000.
No. Okay, now this is the thing. P is 3,000, not A.
That's my thing.
Now for this here, I just wait here. Right on, because the starting value, she has $3,000 right now. Okay, she will eventually have something else that's going to be her A. All right.
And the time is 3 years.
Yeah.
Interest is 0.08.
Very good. So again, 8% has to be changed to a decimal to 0.08. Are we feeling someone okay with those four things? And again, what Alan said is a common thing. P is your start, A is your end. That's the only distinguishing change. Angela, can you be brave now and sub some numbers into the equation for me, please? Go ahead. Very good. And again, this should hopefully look familiar. This should be this is our first one today. Look sort of like this, different numbers, but the same solid question. I see Austin grabbing his calculator, and that's good because Austin's up next. Austin, can you give me an answer, please? Thank you, Austin. Austin, give me the answer, please. Go ahead. Okay, how far should I round?
No.
Just wait. How far should I round? Does it make sense? Austin? Why does it make sense to use two decimals?
Because in dollars.
We're using money here, right? So because we're using money, we're going to go to two decimals here. Okay. So, and then of course, for Austin and everyone else, because, guys, my mother's not here, so I can tell this now. If she was asking me this question, I used to do this when I was in university. She'd say, okay, I want to go to Hawaii, I want to go to Jamaica, I need this much money, how long is it going to take me? If I were telling her, therefore, n equals 14.2, or a equals 3779.14, what do you think she'd say to me? What are you talking about, Mr. Sadler? So, can someone please translate that into English for me, please?
You need $3,779.14.
Therefore, we're going to say Emily will
You end
have...
up with $3,779.14. All right.
Now again, so here's the whole thing. Let me just speak for 1 sec. You guys scribble that down here, okay? The idea is saving money is a good thing again. What happened was the only problem is Emily lost that money. Like she couldn't actually touch that $3,000 for 3 years. In exchange for that, though, the bank gave you $780 or $779. Like that's sort of the trade-off that happens for that. Okay. I'm going to write example 2 on the board here right now. Wait. Okay. We'll talk just for 1 sec here. Well, the question was who's going to put $1 million in a savings account? Well, nobody. And we'll talk about.
Why not? I'll do it.
Can I please finish that? Yeah, the problem is like for me to put money in an account and not touch it for 30 years, probably not. So we're going to talk about what's ways of saving on a regular basis. That's going to be tomorrow's lesson. Okay, but this is like the beginning.
Okay.
Example 2.
So there's 5 saving bonds. I don't know if it was 100 or 1,000.
Okay, I'm going to use 1,000. Okay.
And then she said I have $30,000.
Okay, hold on. Let's see this, please. Example 2 is going to be Taylor's grandmother.
This isn't the rabbit one. This is the different one.
Okay. Oh, I got to keep together. Taylor's grandmother saved 5,000 for him at, we'll say 6% when he was born.
Saving bonds are only 6.
If there's less than that probably now. If he is 16 now, what is their value?
16.
But this is a really good question, because again, that's when a lot of the savings starts happening. When Abel is born and when my new son is born, I'm gonna start setting money aside for them, for university
Until they
or
take their
for
fractions.
masters, until they get their fractions. Okay, so I'd like you guys to try this one for me right now. I'll hit stop, hopefully, and